Hello guys, this is Kazrahim bringing you another review. And this time I think it's the time finally to do a review of the Centurion 7-7/1. It's a tier 9 British medium tank, but I want to start off with a little bit of history that we started with the Centurion 1, because this is obviously the same tank, both of those. But through the changes from the Centurion 1, actually this is more like a Centurion Mark III, especially since the turret is a Mark III. The biggest difference between the two vehicles being actually being up-armored, which occurred I think 2 times, and from the Mark III and to the Mark 7. Actually the Mark 7 designation says that this tank was up-armored. The Mark 7-1 designation said that it got a rifled gun. But they are like, it's quite difficult to come across a certain saying. The Mark 7-2 seems to be the first Centurion which got the L7 gun, because the 7-1 had the 20 pounder, which we all know, the 20 pounder Mark B that we get on this tank as a start, the B barrel, the A barrel and the B barrel. And now it gets the L7 gun, Royal Ordnance 105mm gun, which makes this tank amazing in game. And in real life it was a fabulous gun. It was made by the Germans. Even though it says Royal Ordnance, it's a German design. It's exactly the same gun you get on the Panthers. Not the Panthers, on the Leopard. The Leopard also has the exact same gun. Just to give you, perspective, let's go into the Centurion, right click, characteristic, go into the German tree, Leopard 1, characteristic. Of course the rate of fire will be higher, because it's a tier 10 vehicle, but check this out. Actually the rate of fire is very, very close to each other. Now do you see a pattern? L7A1, L7A3. Compatible vehicles, Centurion Mark 7-1, FV, and this only the Leopard. Same, better accuracy on the Leopard, better aiming time, same damage, same penetration. It is basically the British bought the design. I think they bought the design of the 105mm gun from the German Rheinmetall. I think it's the name of the producer, and implemented into the Centurion medium tank. So now let's go back into the game. It's a tank that served, like, I went over more history in the first review, and also like more tank characteristics and stuff like that. I can just tell you that it's roughly one of the most... A lot of historians actually think of this as one of the best tanks ever, because it was so adored. It was widely sold to other countries. It was in service for a very long time in most countries. Even in some, it still is. Of course there's like Mark 13 out now, so... And of course every country is buying a license. They don't buy the vehicles, they buy a license for the vehicles, and they modify them accordingly to what they need. So, let's go into in-game stats. 1720 hit points, which is... let's just compare it to... This doesn't have the top turret, so I cannot be accurate, but it has more than the pattern, more than the E50. So it seems to be quite high. Well, honestly the difference between the pattern and this isn't that big, and I don't know the difference in the Indian in the E50. So I think it's a quite good amount of hit points, especially since the tier 10 one only gets 200 more, 230 to be exact. So yeah, that's a big disadvantage on a tier 10 tank, but okay. 52 tons, can weight up to a maximum of 54. Decent weight for a medium tank. It's like, it gets to the standards of modern day battle tanks. 950 horsepower engine, which allows you to be quite good with acceleration. It's not 20 to 1, but it's close. Problem being, the next thing, speed limit 40. You will feel that all the time. You are the slowest thing on the battlefield concerning Tier 9 medium tanks. Just to give you comparison, the E50 gets 60, the Patton gets 48. So you're 8 kilometers behind the Patton, and the E50 is strongly outspeeding you. And if we go into the... well, I didn't want the Chinese, honestly, I wanted the Russians. Vehicle comparison, 56 speed limit for the T-54. So yeah, we are getting quite outrun by anything. This is made up, you guys may not know this, this is made up by excellent characteristic of going on soft ground and climbing. The Centurion 7-1 and the V4202 climb things amazingly. I am so immensely enjoying where they can go, but that all just plays in the favor of their specific playstyle. While the Centurions have a very specific playstyle that you can use, the FV gets a little bit of a nerf hammer, but we'll talk about it in the review of the FV. So, 32 traverse speed limit, which is not that much concerning it's a medium tank, with 36 to the traverse speed gives us a total of 68, which is, yeah, perfectly fine, right? You can shoot something circling you with ease if you can rotate your hull. Now, armor, and this is the part as shoalish as the Centurion. Armor on this, hull-wise, is 121mm in the front, 51 in the sides, 35 in the back. Of course, the lower plate will be something lower, I'm guessing something around 80 at maximum. Turret armor is 165 in the front, 112 on the sides and back. So side and back armor of the turret is quite weakly armored, but then if you think about it, you're at tier 9, you're facing things that have above 220mm of penetration. So it shouldn't be that good, right? Fortunately for us, the Centurion 7-1 has roughly the same, not the same, but it has a very similar turret design to the Centurion Mark 1. Exactly the Mark 3 gun, which you can see, and it has a very well sloped turret over here, and those sides are also sloped. But there's a weak spot. If you want to shoot a Centurion frontally and you have a very punchy gun, this is one weak spot. This is flat armor. You can see that from the top, because here is just a tiny bit, but here is a more profound spot. This viewport is a weak spot. And of course the commander's hatch. Guns with above 260mm of penetration will start to overcome your armor over here, and you will stop bouncing. I had bounces from Yak Panzer Z100s, but I wouldn't count on them. You can rely on the turret to be bouncy, but that's about it. Your hull, on the other hand, is made of paper. It's made of a wet piece of paper. It doesn't bounce. If it bounces, it's... let me put it this way. A Centurion 7-1 bounces as frequently as I am free steward while being a scout in a tier 8 game. So yeah, that's exactly what you can expect from the Centurion 7-1. You will get penetrated easily, cause your armor is nothing to brag about. Even the sloping will not give you any whatsoever bounciness. As I said, you can have some random shots bouncing, but I wouldn't count on that. Another factor is that your frontal wheels, you can see the hull of the tank is quite put backwards. That's like a modern day design thing. And people, even if you pull off your whole back, they will be still able to hit those wheels. Like if you're coming around a corner and you're hiding, this is a wall, you'll hide your lower plate, but your wheel is still off, and they can shoot that and immobilize you, which will be just plainly horrible. Sides, non-existent back even more. If you have the back shots on a Centurion, you can load HE ammo. On the sides, I wouldn't recommend it because of the side skirts. But back shots, just load HE, load hesh, whatever you have, and rip it apart, because you will just damage it so horribly. As weak spots go on the whole, there's actually nothing to talk about in terms of weak spots. It's quite easy to penetrate it all around. If you shoot over here, where the driver is, because the Centurion carries almost, well, above 70 rounds of ammunition, you can really think that it has to be put everywhere in the tank. And that's what you get. You are driving ammo rack. A lot of people will say this to you, and they will like say, don't get the Centurion because you're gonna be a driving just target practice for everyone who knows where to aim. You will get ammo racked with probably every hit. The trick is not getting hit at all. But of course we know that doesn't work each and every single game we want, especially with our terrible mobility. But what can we do? Well, we can do a few things. Now, view range for this tank is 410 meters, allowing us to say easily Tier 9 best view range, tied with the pattern. And I think also right now, after introduction of the German line, if I actually hit the German line, the Tier 9 also has 410, no, 400, so yeah, the pattern and we in the Centurion 7-1 have the most view range. We don't have to enhance it. There are people who like to give optical telescope or binoculars to this tank. In this tank, it will increase your spotting range, but I am not a big fan of, you know, getting spots in medium tanks. I prefer to be the guy doing damage to the spotted guys. 750 view signal range, normal tier 10 radio. You cannot get less or more. Now, we will go into the research tree, and then we're gonna talk about the gun. Research tree. Basically, when you start off with a Centurion 7-1, you get the first engine upgrade, because it's a Centurion 7- it's a Centurion Mark 1 thing, but it's only 100 horsepower advantage. Now, notice something weird. I just noticed it. This is a tier 5 engine, and you're changing it for a tier 9. Why the hell does a tier 9 vehicle consist of a tier 5 engine? That means the British really love that engine. You're gonna get the 20 pounder, and that's roughly it. Probably the radio. Let's just check, do you get the top radio? Yep, you get the top radio. So, you start off with those three things. Engine, radio, gun. Gun, of course, being a stock thing. Those things you have to buy. And it will be quite costly. 84,000 credits for the engine, and 54,000 for the radio. But you don't have to pay in credits and experience for it, so it's still good. Now, the horror of the tier 9 British tank grind starts. The horror. That's a wrong way to say it. I will just give you this impression. I stopped playing this tank the moment I got it. Now, going into my service record, the Centurion Mark, it's the top of the scoreboard. Now, why? I played 354 games in it to get 312,000 experience to be able to research the FB, and I used free experience on this vehicle. That means you have a shit ton of experience to grind. It's roughly somewhere in the rounds of 370,000 from a stock tank up to the FB. But yeah, let's go back into the research tree. First thing you want to upgrade on this tank, honestly, are the tracks. Obvious upgrade, and obviously needed. Once you upgrade the tracks, it's gonna cost you 23,000 credits experience, which is not that much if you think about it. But your first upgrade after that is your second gun, which costs 45,000 experience, which is quite a lot considering the difference between the guns. Just to give you like perspective, The A barrel differs from the B barrel with 0.5 more rate of fire. And that's it. And you get a little bit better aiming time and accuracy. Accuracy by 1 promille, by 0.1 accuracy. That costed you 45,000 experience, and you didn't have a choice. Roughly said this, let's say that, yeah, you don't mind paying for that. It's not that bad, right? The gun itself is wonderful. If you enjoy the Centurion 1 like I did, then the 20 pounder on the Centurion 7-1 will be more than capable of making you happy. Just compare the rate of fire of the Centurion 1, the 7.5 rounds per minute to 10 rounds per minute. It gives you roughly something above, if you have brought in arms, 100% crew, fully equipped tank and vents, you get 4.4 second reload time with the 20 pounder. This one. So this one will have roughly something around, I think, 5 seconds, below 5 seconds. So yeah, you actually spend the 45,000 experience to get this gun. Now, you have to upgrade the turret, because you upgraded the suspension for it. And you want the turret. Even though it's like not a huge improvement. Let's look. The Centurion's turret differ by 10 view range. And that's it. And the fact that the stock turret cannot mount the L105 Royal Ordnance, but that's obvious because it's an upgrade after the turret. So again, you are paying experience for something that's roughly mediocre. I wouldn't call an upgrade. 24,000 of it. That's not bad, right? But it's 69,000 combined with the gun. Now you have to think, I want to get the 105. 55,000 experience. And that took the longest in this tank to get. So, you're basically done all of this. You basically already spent about 100,000 or even more experience points to get this tank upgraded. But it's still not fully upgraded, because it doesn't have this engine. And the engine upgrade is quite significant. It's 200 horsepower more. It doesn't make your maximum speed go up, but it makes you more mobile. It makes you way more fast. It gives you the almost 20-to-1% horsepower to ton ratio. But it's 45,000 experience. Again, it seems the British like the 45,000 experience. So you have to wait with the FV till you get this, because this engine is only on the Centurion. On the Conqueror and FV, if you play the British heavy line, then you have like most of the things unlocked. And the same way around, if you have those things unlocked, you will have an easier way playing those tanks. See, I already have the radio, I already have the engine, but it's a fully upgraded tank. But I have the engine on the Conqueror. I have the gun of the Conqueror. I don't have the 120mm, but I have the radio also. Now if I go even backwards more, Kazrahim, 20 pounder B-type barrel. Okay, so it's an upgrade, it's not something that I wouldn't get. But I already have something that I would have to spend 45,000 experience just detracking from the Conqueror. Again, Black Prince, 17 pounder met on the Centurion Mark 1. I don't have to pay for that, and I have an engine. Excellent! Centurion, I have all the guns, I have the radio. Churchill 1, I have all the guns, I have the radios. And then it starts being weird and not actually like I would prefer, but I have the gun on the medium. So, you finally did all your research. You have this tank fully researched. It's just the FV left, 180,000 credits, which is a longish grind, I have to say, and it's immensely put me down because I had to play 352 battles just to get the FV. While my grind for the E5 without spending free experience was 300 battles. My pattern, which I played with in about 200 battles, let's just check, there it is, M46 pattern, 214 battles. I made 173,000 experience. Now, this seems weird. Let's look how many I have it. Oh! I almost have 100,000, and I only need 60. That's 60 games, and that's it. I won't reach 300 battles with the pattern, because I will sell it the moment I just get the top tier pattern. So again, it's a very longish grind. I would compare it to German Leopard line, because they actually get somewhat the same situation. But enough for that. Now let's go into the gun. What you get for your 45,000 experience. You get this gun, the Royal Ordnance L7A1 gun, which is, well, I would honestly say the best tier 10 gun in the game. Maybe with the exception of the Leopard, which has even a more superior cannon. Rate of fire 5 rounds per minute. That's below average. You're gonna have problems with this. It means you're roughly shooting. My crew is with broadening arms and everything loaded. I shoot every 9.9 seconds. Which means that, yeah, it takes me some time to reload this cannon. A lot of people prefer the 20 pounder instead of this just because of its rate of fire. But also you get 268 penetration, which is more after 8.6 than most heavy tanks have. You have roughly the best penetration on a non-tank destroyer in the game. Only thing that I would be concerned about, that would make my claim invalid, would be this bloody thing. And no! 259, so my claim is valid. The Centurion has the best Penta. The best gun. In terms of penetration. Downside. You look at the free characteristic. This gun can use APCR as standard ammunition, HESH as its premium gold ammo, and HE as normal HE shells, high explosive. Now, you have 268 with APCR, meaning your shells travel faster but you lose your penetration with range. But you have 210 with HESH, because HESH actually has less penetration. It's a gold round that doesn't increase the penetration of the gun, which means that once converting something like a T95, like a Mouse, like a E100, a Jagdpanzer E100, E3, E4, you have to aim at weak spots. It's not like other tanks that you just load gold and dab people in the face. HESH rounds, but the difference in the HESH rounds and normal shells is like, look, 390 average damage that you get with this gun. 480 with HESH and 480 with HE. HESH is just a high penetration HE round, which is correctly bugged in the game horribly. What that means, honestly, I didn't use HESH almost at all. I have 5 shells loaded in this tank. I will try to get into using them on the FV, but honestly, the only reason when you would want to shoot HESH is when you want to kill arty and scouts, because your shots will do full damage to very squishy targets, but if you don't hit spaced armor. The moment a HESH shell hits spaced armor, it goes to shit. There's no sense in even trying. E100, worst target ever. Mouse, even worse. You can just plainly forget about having those shells. Shooting at targets that have 200mm of armor is also something that you have to consider. HESH doesn't get normalization. It doesn't penetrate like APCR. So I think it's a wasted shell, and honestly we would be better with either better walking HESH round, because it doesn't walk in game as it does in real life, or just another gold round like heat. Give us heat, give us a shell that has even more penetration, and we will be golden. But unfortunately we have no power whatsoever over it. So 0.32 accuracy, meaning this gun is horribly inaccurate. Only thing better than this is the German variant of this gun. 2.3 aiming time, which means we can comfortably like snipe people, cause our aiming will be way lower, including crew skills and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it for the gun. I'm getting bugged by people. Equipment for this tank: vents, rammer, vertical stabilizer, or enhanced gun laying drive. That's my usual medium tank setup. If you want to be more fancy, you can go with, if you want to be more cloaky rather, this tank has actually pretty good camouflage. You can go with binoculars or coated optics to increase your view range. Leave the rammer on, and maybe I would consider camo net, but honestly that's not the way I play my medium tanks. You can go for a wet ammo rack if you don't have safe stowage. I played those 350 battles without safe stowage because my crew is... we're gonna go over the crew in a second, but I didn't have it. It was a nuisance. It was a nuisance. Safe stowage would just leave me with a little bit more hair in my head. Now let's go through the crew. There's 4 guys in this tank. Gunner, commander, gunner, driver, loader. Obviously, modern battle tank way of like fitting a tank. The only difference being Russians without the loader, because they have an auto-loader system. What we can say about crew skills: I recommend you get repairs on everyone as a start, then go into change it into broadening arms to get better performance from the tank overall, because broadening arms will give you more than any skill on its own. But there's a downside to it. The downside being you won't have Sixth Sense, you won't have safe stowage. It's a decision entirely up to you. I decided to go with broadening arms. I'm working on my second skill, but I won't get it soon. But once I reach second skill, then I would go with the normal skills like Sixth Sense, safe stowage, smooth ride, and snapshot. Yeah, that's it. I just like flickered for a moment because I looked at the gunner, at the loader, and he has situation awareness skilling. The loader is the radio operator in this tank, so yeah, you get a lot of useful skills in both of those professions, so you can use every one of them. Pun intended. Yeah, so second skill I would go with normal skills. Third skill probably something like recon for the commander. Gunner, intuition. Gunner actually doesn't have a good skill. I would go with camouflage. Driver would be probably smooth ride or something like that. Something increasing the overall performance of driving and running. Fires are not a common thing in this tank, so preserve maintenance is a waste of a skill. And fourth skill for the gunner. Gunner, third skill. Honestly, you can go with situation awareness since he's the radio operator, and then you can go for camouflage. So yeah, fourth skill, camouflage all around, if you still don't have it, because this skill can actually help you in this tank. So yeah. As for consumables, I use standard consumables because I don't like to waste money. So a fire extinguisher, repair kit, and first aid kit. Ammo loadout, you can see 66 APCR, 5 heat shells, 1 HE shell. Why the heat and HE? Simple answer. Heat, because I tried to learn them, but I don't use them because they're expensive. 4.8 thousand for extra 80 damage. That's not worth it in my opinion. And 1 HE ammo, 1 HE shell for those very random situations when I have to decap. Like it's 98% on capture, I have a HE shell loaded, I shoot in the tracks. It doesn't matter where I shoot, I do damage, module damage, and the guy decaps. So yeah, that's it for the garage review. Let's go into the game. So here we have the game. I'm playing with Nurse and his T-54 and Vesp and his Yaktiga. You know Vesp from Monday's replay. We're playing on Arctic region. It's a tier 9, an 8 mostly game with some scouts. And yeah, let's try to walk around with the Centurion, maybe show you something good. I selected this replay via damage done, and I noticed how long I was speaking in the garage. Sorry guys for that, this is gonna be a longish video. Not intended. But I wanted to give a little bit more information about the tank and a little bit more in-depth review, not like the last Tiger review that I wasn't pleased with it. So we come around, boom! Leopard Prototype A is honestly a tank that cannot stand its own against anything, let alone a Centurion. And we have a Centurion of our own. I'm going forward, but the bastard is fast enough so he doesn't give me a good... I was trying to aim for his hull to ammo rack him, but I couldn't, so I shot his turret and I penetrated, which was quite lucky on my part. I don't know why, but I seem to be lucky while penetrating. Now we bounced the first shot in this game, and they got mantlet. Now I have a Porsche right behind me, so I'm gonna use this gun to its full advantage of accuracy. Put a shot in the Porsche using just the great penetration of this gun, and unfortunately the shot goes low. I should have aimed a tiny bit higher, but the guy is just gonna fall back completely, so I'm aiming at the AMX, and again I miss because I aimed too low, which is horrible. I wanted to do damage here. If I did damage, probably I would get way more experience. This was something like 1,800 experience game. I have those, lots of those in the Centurion 7-1, which I'm very happy and proud of. Our team killed the Leopard and the AMX, so there's still the Centurion, still a T-71, a Panther waiting for us somewhere. This is 75 just derpy derps. I get hit, but I bounced, so I'm guessing, yeah, that's the Panther. You can see I didn't even properly like try to aim, and I still got a penetrating hit on the Panther. There's just the penetration of this gun leaves only room for fault if you shoot a gun mantlet like I just did. Because her derpy derp, I have to derp. I cannot play a perfect game. That's obvious. Panther spotted again, but I will not see him, so I want to go after the Centurion. You can see someone beautifully bounced off his turret. He misses his shot, and he has the L7. Easiest way to notice the L7 probably is that the L7 has the... Let me remind myself of the proper term. Fumes extractor on the gun barrel. The thingy in the middle. And it also has a muzzle brake velocity, at the end, like the little bit that you get on the 20-pounder, but the 20-pounder doesn't get that weird thing in the middle. Well, it's not weird, it increases the velocity of shells firing through the gun. This is a rifled gun, which means, if I'm interpreting correctly, it's a gun barrel that is, you know, it has cuts in it to make the bullet spin in its axis. So you can see I'm shooting a KV-3, but there's no competition whatsoever. Now he shoots me and actually does damage to my tracks. I shoot him, but unfortunately the E75 kills him off, not giving me the kill. So I was denied 3 kills in this game. Mostly by the E75. Now I tried to go here, but yeah, I just failed. It's too much even for the Centurion. Just look around how this tank dances without a problem. There we have a Ferdinand. I'm waiting for my gun depression. This tank has amazing gun depression. I have no idea how that hit. I got hit by the pattern, which is quite weird. Ferdinand is now looking at me. I'm just waiting for my buddies to get over here. Bouncing a shot off the top of the turret. As I said to you, you're quite easily able to bounce off shots from the top of the turret. And the gun mantlet will be penetrated, but by something that has roughly 300 millimeters of penetration. So you can expect tier 8, tier 9 and 10 tanks using gold penetrating that, or tank destroys of tier 10. So I'm thinking I want to go around, I want to just get this E75 and the ET34. So even in the whole shots that we took, we just got penetrated 2 times, and roughly both of those shots were from the sides. So if you can hide your sides, you're pretty much able to neglect. If you hide your hull and your sides, you're pretty much, you know, golden. You only have to remember that some high caliber shells will go through. And we have our E75 on full life. It's like Christmas. We already are 2.3 thousand damage, and you saw it's like with the Centurion you don't have to feel that you're not doing anything on a battlefield. You're just standing there putting shots and it still does damage. Vesp unfortunately dipped at the end and he got killed by the E75. I told him to wait for a second so I can get here, because the E75 will not spot me. I'm like 20 meters behind a bush, shooting through the bush. A easy way to know if you will be spotted or not with this kind of play is if you can see through a bush, you basically they are able to see you. Nice hit on the front, also tracking him. I hide myself a little bit to not give him the advantage of, you know, shooting me in the side. Put another hit into him, and that's gonna be the last hit. And those two guys over there, I think I didn't get a single shot. Let's just speed it up. I think the E75 just manhandled them before I got there. Yep, first down. Come on, kill the T-34. Yeah, the T-71 killed him, so let's go into the garage back. Actually no, let's make this a really long video and let's give you two replays. One very good that I almost didn't get damage, and this was sorted by damage received and surviving. That means I probably survived with a Spartan medal or something like this. Well, we'll see. We're playing on Steps, one of the best maps for the for the British tanks. Boom! Perfect accuracy. You just gotta love this accuracy of this gun. You can see it, at this point I no longer have any... Oh no, sorry, it's the replay is derping and I actually have no APCR, but it counts it as normal rounds. Weird. Weird bug. Boom! One frag down. We already received 700 damage. As I said, like, side armor is easily penetrated. And this is a 20-pounder review. So it's not a PCR, it's a 20-pounder gun. Oh, I didn't suspect that. But yeah, let's go with this. You saw how great the gun is if it's max. Now look at the gun that you're gonna start off with. You can see the rate of fire is amazing. Accuracy is also very good. 225 penetration will roughly get you through everything that you want. I don't know how the hell I'm penetrating that lion, but okay, probably also a bug. So yeah, those are AP rounds. Because there's no sense, honestly guys, I wouldn't use APCR in this tank. For the love of God, don't do it with this gun, because honestly you get like 20 penetration more. Let's just compare it. 226 against 258. 30 penetration more. I wouldn't pay 5,000 credits for something like that. So just trying to get some spots. You have very good view range, so I'm trying to walk around that advantage. We are still clubbing them. We have 3 kills advantage over them.
Enemy armor is hit.
With 1 hit, but before he escaped, so I just back out. But I see the SU, sorry, it's not a SU. He's hiding again. Also, everything's hiding when they get shot by a Centurion. You can see this gun is way more than capable. This is a tier heavy 9 game. We didn't shoot tier 9s now, but you can see what this does to side armor, frontal armor and whatsoever of tier 7s and above. It is roughly the same gun you get on the Centurion, so this guy was shooting me. And let's just kill this guy so I can show you. That shot on the gun mantlet didn't penetrate, but this one on the frontal plate did. The other one did. I dipped. Sorry for that. I think the video will be still there. Okay. Yeah, side armor completely invulnerable. Didn't see it going in, but we got hit enough times to get penetrated. So let's go More forward. It's gonna be I think a longish, so let's just 2 times it up. Object 704, 500 meters, no problem penetrating and hitting. Put another shot out, another shot out. You saw those 2 shots went wildly. I noticed in War of Tanks that if you actually aim at something that's you don't see, your shots tend to be worse than normally. So I'm just leaving this object for them, but they killed him. Now, walking on the STI, which is quite a hard tank to deal with, and I notice this tank destroyer, which misses me by like inches. And now thinking like, what's the best target? We see our autoloader. Let's put some hits in the autoloader. And he did a lucky juke. Now I know he's looking at me, but he properly dubbed his shot, just rushed the shot probably. We are alone over here, and I bounced the ST1. My fault, bad aiming, but I can shoot like 3 times before he shoots. So I penetrate him. I'm down to 100 health. I bounce again, and amazingly I tracked him. But just notice the fact that first of all the guy isn't that smart because he's not moving his tank around. If he was moving his tank around, we would have way easier time. But you can see I'm penetrating the front of the ST1. Again, bad shot. You always learn. You like every single day I'm learning something new. I'm learning how to aim. So we did 3000 damage with a gun that does 200 average, so I think it's good. And we have 100 life, so you saw, really, if something shoots your way, there's no way in stopping it unless you hold down. I thought this is gonna be a better replay that I'm gonna be playing on that 9 line. I'm used to doing that, but honestly, problem with that being that it's very good when you start from the red starting circle now, from the red spawn, cause obviously you have the advantage that on the 9 line you can get completely hull down. There will not be your hull will not be seen at all if you go down into that valley and just obliterate enemies. I think we won't do anything else. Let's just speed it up. Yeah, we won't. So guys, that's roughly the review for the Centurion. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked it. If you did, please comment on the video, like it. Say, do you prefer this review type videos being longish, because this is gonna be about 50 minutes instead of the 30 minutes one that I do, like I'll go briefly through the garage statistics and then like give you one game that's mediocre, to give you one good, one bad game, and like some background story and overall thoughts about the tank. Your decision guys, comment on it so I know. Thank you all for coming, thank you all for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. See ya.